Did you tell yourself in January that you were going to finish your book in 2025 and now it's June and you have not even started? Let me encourage you, don't beat yourself up. We all have goals that we set at the beginning of the year, and then we get to June and we're like, where did the time go? So I completely understand, and I want to encourage you to go back to those goals that you set for completing your book this year. I am going to give you some tips to help you get started, and I'm also going to include my writing playlist in this video called Write Your Book in 2025. That will help you get started. It will help you work through the process of writing your book this year. Hi, I'm Aisha, and my mission is to mobilize you, the Christian writer, so that you can share your unique voice with the world. I will be bringing you writing tips and godly encouragement. So you said this year that you were going to write your book, and I do believe that you can still write your book this year. Actually, it doesn't take 6 months to finish a book. You can write a rough draft in 30 days. It just takes a little bit of planning. I am going to give you some tips to help you get started. And first, I want to start with the writing process. The writing process, it's the pre-writing, it's the organizing, it's the writing and cleaning up your writing. So let's start with brainstorming. With brainstorming, you're generating ideas. You're coming up with ideas for stories. You're coming up with ideas for characters. You're coming up with ideas for settings and the way that you want the plot to flow. So brainstorming is always a part of the writing process because you're always thinking of ideas to help you move a story forward. And when you generate these ideas, you want to have them in one place so that you can always get back to them. I encourage every writer to have a notebook, some type of journal that you can write in. You can also make a list in Google Docs. Just have a place where you keep all of your writing together, all of your ideas together, so that you can easily access your ideas and they won't be spread out over multiple places. So we talked about brainstorming. Now let's talk about outlining. I am currently in the process of writing 3 stories, and I have videos that you can watch. There's a Write With Me playlist, and I will include that in this video as well. But once you have started getting your ideas together, you want to organize them. So maybe you have your characters, you have your setting, you have your plot, you have whatever it is that you're going to write, and then you want to get it organized so that you can use that to guide your writing. And don't worry, when you outline, you don't have to keep everything in order the way that you have it. This is your writing project, so you can change it however you want it to go. So if you decide that a certain character is not going to be introduced until later in the story, you can move things around the way that you need to. So an outline is basically a foundation, it's a starting point to get you moving forward in your writing process. An outline is also great to help you get past writer's block. When it comes to writers, I would be called a pantser because I like to just start writing, but that is free writing. And with free writing, once I have a lot of my ideas down, I am still going to outline. I want them in a certain order. So it doesn't always start with, oh, you have to have an outline, but it's great to have one if you know where you want to go in your writing project. So after you have your outline, then you're going to just start writing. You don't want to judge yourself at this point. You just want to get those ideas out. And writing may not always be linear. It may be where you write at the beginning of the story and you figure out, oh, I know where I want the story to go in the end. And then you start writing that way. So writing doesn't always have to be in order. And again, I don't write in order. It is hard for me to write from the beginning to the end. I do go back to my outline. I do see where I want to go. I also reread what I've already written. That's a great way for me to continue writing. So when you are writing, just write. And after you have your 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 15,000 words, then you're going to edit it. So you may want to set it aside for a little bit, maybe a week or two, or you may want to look at it right away. It's up to you. It's your project. But After you have written and you feel like, okay, I've come to a place where I can stop, then you want to start the editing process. And let me tell you my editing process. First, I'm going to read through the story. I'm not necessarily looking for grammar and spelling and all of that right away. First, I want to see, do I have something that is a workable product or a readable product? Do I have a story that is coming together well, that is flowing? Do I have characters that seem like they're real? So when I first start editing, I'm actually looking for the meat of the story. I am wanting to make sure that whatever I have written so far makes sense. And if it doesn't, guess what I do? I make it make sense. I start looking through the story for my characters. Does my character have the same name throughout the story? That is something that I have seen before. And if I decided that I wanted to change the character's name in the middle of the story, I have to make sure that I have changed it throughout the story. Have I changed the setting in the middle of the story? Have I changed the setting at the end of the story? Those are things that I'm looking for when I am editing in the beginning. I'm also making sure that events tie together. Did I put something at the end that should have been at the beginning? Were there events that should have been in order that got out of order some way? When I am editing, I am looking at the meat of the story, making sure that the events are in order and they make sense. After that, I will start thinking about word choice, sentence structure, things like that. All of that goes into the editing process. And I say I create a book cover at this point, but usually I am creating my book cover throughout, just thinking about what I want my book cover to look like. I'm looking for images, I'm looking for the fonts that I want. So all of my current books right now, they have the same fonts. They just have the different images. When I make this new series, I don't know if it's going to have the same font that I've had in the past. There are, of course, a lot of decisions that go into that. So I am making that book cover throughout, but when I finish editing and revising my book, I want to make sure that my book cover is ready. And why do I want to make sure that it's ready? Because it's time to publish. And when it's time to publish, there are so many places that we can choose to publish our books. We can publish traditionally, we can publish independently. And for me, I have chosen to publish independently because I just love having that control over my creative ideas. And you can publish with Ingram Spark, you can publish with Kobo, Lulu, Amazon KDP. There are so many options out there. And also, you can publish digitally. A lot of people are writing series on places like Substack and Patreon. I have my own Christian community, so that is where I am going to release my new series. But you have all these options of places where you can publish, and you can even create your own website and publish your series there. So the writing process, that's where I would start. And let me give you a few more tips. When you're writing, you're going to want to think about your time. You're going to want to think about how can you make time for writing. So I want to give you like 3 different ways that you can think about. One, you can decide, am I going to focus on words? And when I say that, like how many words a day do you want to write? Do you want to write 500, 1,000, 1,500? Start thinking about how many words each day that you want to write. And what I would do is, of course, set up a timer and see how many words you can type in a certain amount of time. Usually, I can type about 500 to 1,000 words in 30 minutes. So if I'm deciding that I want to write 1,000 words a day, I know that's going to take me 30 minutes. And I can build that into my planner. Also, I would think about page count. You can say, okay, I know that I want a book to be 150 pages, so I'm going to write 2 pages a day. Now think about if you want to write a book that's 150 pages and you're going to write 2 pages a day, how long would that take you? 75 days. So you want to always be thinking about how long will it take me to write it? And then just make a plan for it. So think about this. Maybe one day you have a little bit of extra time to write and you're thinking, well, today I could write maybe 45 minutes. what you can do is sprints. So you can set up where you will write 3 times for 15 minutes. And in that 15 minutes, you're solely focused on getting words on the page. You're not judging yourself, you are focused on writing. So as you build your writing stamina, you are getting more and more words on the page. And you're getting closer to finishing your book. So let's recap. Since you are going to write your book this year, here are some tips you need to get started. First, you want to think about the writing process. You want to think about generating your ideas. So you're going to brainstorm. You want to get organized. So you're going to outline. You want to write. Don't judge yourself during that process. Just write. You're going to edit and revise, making sure that you have the meat of your story, making sure that your story is organized. And one of the things that I do want to say for this, if you don't feel like you can edit your story, find someone that you truly trust to read your story and give you feedback. That's a great way of editing as well. And then you have your book cover, in which we say you can create that throughout the writing process. And then you're going to find a place to publish your book. Also with that, you want to think about, do you want just an ebook or do you want physical books? Because if you want physical books, you're going to want to publish with somewhere like Ingram Spark, Lulu, Amazon KDP. But if you want to just write digitally, then you can create a website if that's what you choose. Also, you want to think about how you're going to get the writing completed. You can do word counts, you can do page counts, and you can do sprints. I really hope that this information has been helpful for you. If it has, would you let me know in the comments? And there was one thing that I failed to mention. I do have a free writing community for Christian writers. It is also open to Christian readers. We just come together and we just glorify God and encourage each other through our writing and through reading. So you are invited. I will leave that information in the description box. So again, let me know if these tips are helping you out. Let me know what I can help you with. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so you can be notified whenever I upload new videos. And as always, I look forward to seeing you here. Happy writing.